Vivian, get out! You're ruining everything! Brittany's scream cut through the champagne-soaked air like a knife through silk. 12 of Scottsdale's most polished socialites froze mid-sip, their $30 mimosas suspended in time. The Arizona sun beat down on Lumiere's private terrace, but suddenly the heat had nothing on the fire in my eyes. I smiled, calm, collected. The Emerald Oscar de la Renta I'd chosen that morning caught the light just right as I stepped further onto the terrace. My silver hair, professionally styled at Bella Vista Salon just 2 hours earlier, gleamed like a crown. "Actually, dear," I said, my voice steady as a heartbeat, "I own this restaurant. All 3 locations, in fact." The gasps rippled through the crowd like dominoes falling. "And you're no longer welcome in my establishment." I paused, letting every word land like a gavel. "And as for my estate, it's already in trust. Not a cent will fund your lifestyle." The champagne flute slipped from Brittany's perfectly manicured fingers. The crystal shattered against the Italian marble, $180 per square foot. I'd chosen it myself. That's when I knew. Revenge isn't a dish best served cold. It's best served on a sun-drenched terrace in front of witnesses, with receipts. Let me tell you how we got here. If you're already hooked, hit that subscribe button right now because this story is about to get wild. And drop a comment telling me, would you have done the same thing? Let's go. My name's Vivian Martinez, and I spent 49 years learning that hard work doesn't guarantee respect, but owning the building does. I was 19 when I started washing dishes at Danny's Diner on McDowell Road in Phoenix. 19 with callous hands and dreams bigger than the desert sky. My mama had died the year before, cervical cancer, no insurance, $47,000 in medical debt I inherited along with her wedding ring. My father, he'd left when I was 6, so the debt was mine alone. I worked 3 jobs that first year. Danny's in the morning, Target in the afternoon, and bartending at a dive called Lucky's from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. I slept 4 hours a night in a studio apartment that cost $425 a month and had cockroaches that didn't pay rent. But I saved. God, did I save. By 23, I was a line cook. By 27, sous chef. By 32, I met Marcus Martinez, head chef at the Phoenician Resort, with hands that could make a risotto sing and eyes that made me forget I was tired. We married 6 months later at the courthouse. I wore a white dress from Ross that cost $39.99. Tyler came 10 months after that. 7 pounds, 3 ounces of pure joy born at 4:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Marcus cried when he held him. So did I. We named him after Marcus's grandfather, a man who'd crossed the border with nothing and built a construction business that put 5 kids through college. "He'll have everything we didn't," Marcus whispered that night in the hospital. Everything. And we tried. God knows we tried. I went back to work 6 weeks after Tyler was born, not because I wanted to, because we had $8,200 in hospital bills, even with insurance. Marcus worked doubles. I worked triples. We saw each other in passing, him leaving for the dinner shift as I came home from lunch service, me heading to Lucky's as he collapsed into bed. Tyler's first word wasn't mama, it was bye. That gutted me. But by the time Tyler was 10, we'd saved $84,000. $84,000 in a savings account at Wells Fargo on Indian School Road, earning 0.8% interest. Marcus wanted to buy a house. I wanted something bigger.
"A restaurant," I told him one night, both of us exhausted, sitting on our second-hand couch that sagged in the middle. Our own place. Marcus looked at me like I'd suggested we fly to Mars. "Viv, we're chefs. We work in restaurants. We don't own them." "Why not?" He didn't have an answer for that. It took us 3 more years, but we did it. Found a space on Camelback Road, 2,400 square feet, needed complete renovation. Former owner went bankrupt after the 2008 crash. The landlord wanted $6,500 a month. We negotiated down to $4,800. Used our savings for the build-out. $62,000 for kitchen equipment, $18,000 for dining room furniture, $4,500 for permits and licenses. We named it Lumiere, French for light. It opened when I was 46. Tyler was 13. He helped us paint the bathroom mint green because that's the color he said made him happy. Marcus made coq au vin that night for the staff, just the 4 of us who'd be working there. I made crème brûlée. We served 42 customers opening weekend. By year 2, we were pulling $380,000 annually. By year 5, $720,000. By year 8, Marcus and I opened location number 2 in Old Town Scottsdale. By year 12, location number 3 in Arcadia. And then Marcus died. Heart attack, age 49. On a Wednesday morning at 6:15 a.m., making coffee in our kitchen, the kitchen we'd finally been able to afford, with marble countertops and a 6-burner Wolf range. He collapsed before the pot finished brewing. Tyler was 24, working in tech sales in Seattle. He flew home within 4 hours. The funeral cost $11,000. I paid cash. Marcus left me everything, the restaurants, the house we'd finally been able to afford at 46, and $500,000 in life insurance. I was 56 years old, and suddenly, devastatingly alone. Tyler stayed for 3 months, helped me run the restaurants, held me when I cried, which was often, usually at 3 a.m. when the house felt too big and too quiet. He was my lifeline. Then he met Brittany. Brittany Ashford walked into my life wearing Louboutins and carrying a $3,200 Celine bag. Tyler brought her to Sunday dinner 8 months after Marcus died. She was 23, 2 years younger than my son, with honey blonde hair extensions that cost $800 every 6 weeks, and a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Mrs. Martinez," she said, extending a hand with nails so long I wondered how she functioned. "Tyler's told me so much about you." The way she said it, like she was doing me a favor by showing up, should have been my first red flag. But I was lonely, and Tyler was happy, so I ignored the ice in my gut. They dated for 6 months before Tyler proposed, with a ring that cost $14,000, which I later discovered he'd financed at 19.9% interest. They married at the Phoenician Resort, the same place Marcus had worked. 200 guests, open bar, seafood tower, string quartet. Final bill, $67,000. "It's an investment in our future," Brittany had said when Tyler mentioned the cost. I wrote a check for $25,000 as their wedding gift. Brittany sent a thank you card 3 months later. It was generic, not even handwritten. The first 6 months were fine, surface level fine. Sunday dinners at my house every other week. Brittany would smile, nod, check her phone under the table. Tyler would talk about work. His tech sales job was going well. He'd made $180,000 that year, including commission. "That's wonderful, mijo," I'd say.
Brittany would roll her eyes when she thought I wasn't looking. Then things shifted. The dinners became once a month, then every 6 weeks. Brittany started making comments. "Vivian, have you thought about updating your wardrobe? That blouse is very 2010. Vivian, you really should try Botox, just a little, for the forehead lines. Vivian, when you tell that story about the dishwashing days, it's kind of depressing. Tyler's colleagues don't need to hear about poverty." Tyler would laugh, awkwardly, uncomfortably, but he'd laugh, and he never defend me. That hurt worse than Brittany's words. By their 2nd anniversary, I discovered Brittany wasn't working. She'd quit her job, marketing coordinator at a startup,
$48,000 a year, 6 months after the wedding. I'm focusing on building our social media presence, she told me when I asked. It's a full-time job. Her Instagram, 3,400 followers, posted daily, designer outfits, fancy brunches, gym selfies, every caption some variation of living my best life or grateful for this journey. I checked Tyler's credit card statements once. He'd left his laptop open at my house during a rare dinner. Tyler had added me to an emergency financial power of attorney after his dad died, so I technically had access. My heart sank. $4,200 at Nordstrom, $1,800 at Sephora, $920 at Soul Cycle, $3,100 at Restoration Hardware, $780 at a med spa called Glow Scottsdale. This was 1 month. Tyler was making good money, but not that good. Then came the ban. 3 months ago, Sunday dinner. I'd made Marcus's coq au vin, Tyler's favorite, spent 4 hours in the kitchen, set the table with the good china, even bought a $40 bottle of wine Brittany had mentioned liking. They arrived 20 minutes late. Brittany looked at the table and sighed. "Vivian, we need to talk." I should have known from her tone. It was the voice you use with children or dogs. Tyler and I have been discussing boundaries. Tyler stared at his plate. "You're a wonderful person, but frankly, your energy is exhausting. Your stories about the old days, they're depressing. And when we have people over, when we're trying to build our network, you don't fit." The room tilted. "What are you saying?" "We're saying we need space from you. We won't be doing these dinners anymore. And when we have events, parties, gatherings, whatever, we'd prefer you didn't attend." I looked at Tyler, my son, the boy I'd worked 3 jobs to feed, the teenager who'd helped paint Lumiere's bathroom, the man who'd held me when his father died. "Tyler?" He finally looked up, and the weakness in his eyes, the absolute, gutless surrender, broke something in me. "Mom, Brittany's right. You can be a lot. And we're trying to move up in the world. Your stories about being poor, about struggling, people don't want to hear that." Brittany smiled, triumphant. "You're too old and embarrassing, Vivian. Your clothes are outdated. Frankly, you're dragging down the family image." I sat there, in the house Marcus and I had bought, at the table where we'd celebrated Tyler's every achievement, surrounded by food I'd spent hours preparing, and I said nothing. They left 10 minutes later. Brittany didn't even touch the coq au vin. I sat in that dining room until midnight, crying. Then something happened. I stopped crying, and I started planning. Okay, if you're feeling this and you want justice, drop justice in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button. More coming. The call came 2 weeks later. "Mrs. Martinez, it's Stephanie from Lumiere." Stephanie Brooks, my general manager at the flagship location, 29, sharp as a tack, ran that restaurant like a military operation. "What's up?" "I just got a booking request that's interesting. Private terrace, next Sunday, party of 25, requested under the name Brittany Martinez." My blood went cold, then hot. Did she say what it's for? Exclusive brunch with Phoenix's elite. Her words. She also name-dropped Tyler, said her husband was connected in the tech industry, and this was important for their social positioning.
I was quiet for 5 seconds. Then I smiled. "Stephanie, I need you to do something for me. Anything except the booking. Give her everything she wants. Best terrace table, full champagne package, premium menu. Make her feel like royalty." Okay. "And don't tell her I own the place." Silence. Then, "Oh my God, yes, absolutely. When are you coming in?" "I'll coordinate timing with you and come in through the back. This is a reveal, not a scene." I hung up and sat in my home office, the one Marcus had built for me when Lumiere started doing well. Mahogany desk, $2,400, leather chair, $890, framed photo of our opening day. I opened my laptop and started digging. Tyler's social media was set to private, but Brittany's was wide open. I scrolled back 3 months, found the dinner where she'd banned me. She'd posted that night, a selfie at some rooftop bar. Caption, "Sometimes cutting toxic energy is the best form of self-care. Hashtag boundaries are healthy. Hashtag living my truth." My hands shook. I kept scrolling. Designer bags, fancy dinners, gym poses, vacation photos. When did they go to Cabo? Spa days, shopping hauls, every single post hashtag with blessed, grateful for this life, living my best life, and never, not once, a mention of Tyler's job or how she was funding this lifestyle. I called my accountant. "Richard, I need you to look into something for me." Richard Chan had been doing my books for 15 years. Discreet, thorough, never asked questions he didn't need answers to. What am I looking for? My son's financial situation, credit cards, loans, debt-to-income ratio, everything. I have emergency financial power of attorney from when Marcus died, so I have legal access.
3 days later, he sent me a PDF, 23 pages. I read it twice. The numbers were worse than I'd imagined. Tyler's salary, $180,000 annually. Good money. But Brittany's spending? $8,400 monthly on credit cards, average over the last 12 months. $2,100 monthly car payment, Mercedes GLE she'd insisted on. $3,800 monthly rent, penthouse apartment in downtown Scottsdale. $920 monthly for SoulCycle, Pilates, and personal training. $1,200 monthly for hair, nails, facials, Botox. $800 to $1,500 monthly on clothing. $600 to $900 monthly on restaurants and bars. Total monthly spending? Approximately $18,000 to $19,000. Tyler's take-home after taxes? Roughly $10,000 monthly. They were drowning. $47,000 in credit card debt. $14,000 still owed on Brittany's engagement ring. Tyler had taken out a $25,000 personal loan at 16% interest 8 months ago. And Brittany was planning a $3,500 brunch at my restaurant. I called my lawyer. "Patricia, I need to update my will." Patricia Gonzalez had been my attorney since I'd bought the first restaurant. Tough, smart, had seen me through Marcus's death and the estate planning that followed. "What kind of updates?" "I want to establish a trust for Tyler. He gets nothing directly. Everything goes into a managed trust that he can't access without trustee approval. And I want you to be the trustee." "Vivian, that's, aggressive. What's going on?" I told her everything. The ban, Brittany's spending,
Tyler's weakness. When I finished, Patricia was quiet for a long moment. "I'll draft the paperwork, but Vivian, be careful. This kind of thing can blow up families." "Patricia, my family blew up 3 months ago. I'm just making sure the explosion is controlled." The next week, I did something I'm not proud of. I hired a private investigator. His name was Rick Paulson, former Phoenix PD, now ran a small firm out of Tempe. Cost $175 an hour plus expenses. "What do you need?" "I want my daughter-in-law is having a brunch. I want to know who she's inviting, what she's telling them, and what she's posting about it." Rick didn't judge, just took notes. 4 days before the brunch, Rick sent me his report. Brittany had invited 12 couples, 24 people total. Most of them were other tech wives she'd met at networking events. None of them were close friends. This was pure social climbing. She'd posted about it 3 times. Hosting an intimate gathering at Scottsdale's most exclusive restaurant. Only the best for my circle. Curating my tribe one brunch at a time. She'd also told multiple people she was limiting family drama and finally free from negative influences. Rick included screenshots. I read them all, and I made my decision. Sunday morning, I woke up at 5 a.m., did my hair at Bella Vista, blowout, $85, makeup at MAC in Kierland, $120, drove to Nordstrom's and bought the emerald Oscar de la Renta dress I'd been eyeing, $2,800, but worth every penny.
I looked in the mirror, 68 years old, silver hair gleaming, diamond earrings Marcus had given me for our 20th anniversary, dress that fit like armor. I looked like money, old money, the kind you don't mess with. I texted Stephanie, "I'll be there at 11:45. I'll let myself in through the back." She replied immediately, "This is going to be legendary." I smiled. She had no idea. The terrace was perfect. Stephanie had outdone herself. White linens, $40 each to rent. Centerpieces of peonies and garden roses, $380 per arrangement. Crystal champagne flutes that caught the light. The view overlooked Camelback Mountain, the same view Marcus and I had fallen in love with when we'd first toured this space 22 years ago. Brittany held court at the head of the table like a queen. I watched from inside, through the French doors that separated the main dining room from the private terrace. Stephanie stood next to me, practically vibrating with anticipation. "She's been here for 45 minutes, Stephanie whispered, ordered 3 bottles of Veuve Clicquot at $180 each, told the server to keep them coming. Her exact words, "Money's no object today." I raised an eyebrow. "Anything else?" She sent back the first amuse-bouche because it was too pedestrian, demanded we remake it. I wanted to throw her out right there. "Not yet," I said. "Let her finish her toast." We watched. Brittany stood, champagne glass raised. Her dress, Valentino, I recognized it from the boutique on Main Street, $4,200 retail, shimmered in the June sunlight. Her Cartier bracelet caught the light. Every woman at that table was watching her with either envy or calculation. "Ladies," Brittany's voice carried perfectly, "to new beginnings." Polite applause. You know, I've learned something important this year. Sometimes to rise, you have to cut weight. Toxic people, negative energy, people who hold you back with their poverty mindset and their depression-era stories. Several women nodded. One, a redhead in Chanel, actually said, "Amen, girl." I jaw clenched. I've made hard choices. Family doesn't mean you have to tolerate dysfunction. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say no, to set boundaries, to protect your peace and your future. More applause. One woman actually whooped. So here's to us, to women who refuse to settle, who demand excellence, who know their worth, who aren't afraid to leave people behind if it means moving forward. She raised her glass higher. To the life we deserve. To the life we deserve, the table chorused. Glasses clinked, champagne flowed. Brittany basked in the attention like a lizard on a hot rock. And that's when I walked outside. The click of my heels on the terrace tile was sharp, precise. Several heads turned. Brittany didn't notice. She was too busy laughing at something the Chanel redhead had said. I walked slowly, deliberately. Let them see me. Let them take in the dress, the jewelry, the silver hair styled like armor. Stephanie later told me the whole room went silent in waves, starting with the women closest to the door, rippling outward like a stone dropped in water. Brittany finally noticed because everyone was staring behind her. She turned, and the color drained from her face so fast I thought she might faint. "Vivian!" I smiled. Not warm, not cruel, just confident. "Hello, Brittany." "What are you—" "Get out!" her voice cracked. "You ruining everything. How did you even get in here?" I took 3 more steps, close enough now that she could see my expression clearly. "Interesting question. I'm calling security." "No need." I looked around at the 12 couples, all frozen mid-bite, mid-sip. "Good morning, everyone. I'm Vivian Martinez." Confused murmurs. "You're probably wondering why Tyler's mother is crashing his wife's exclusive brunch." Brittany's hands were shaking. "Vivian, I swear to God." "But I'm not crashing." I turned back to her, and the color on my face was pure ice. "Because, you see, Brittany, I own this restaurant." Silence. Complete, absolute silence. "I'm sorry, what?" The Chanel redhead looked confused. "Lumiere. I own it. All 3 locations, actually. Have for 22 years. Built them with my late husband from nothing. This terrace? We chose these tiles. That view? We paid extra for this specific spot because of the mountain." I could hear Brittany's breathing now, rapid, panicked. In fact, I continued, turning to address the table. "That centerpiece you're admiring, I chose those flowers this morning. The champagne you're drinking? I selected that vintage personally. The menu Brittany spent 20 minutes customizing? I approved it." One of the men, tech bro in a polo, probably mid-30s, cleared his throat. "Wait, you own this place?" "I do." "But Brittany said—" "What did Brittany say?" I asked, genuinely curious. He looked uncomfortable. That her family connections got her access to this private space. "Family connections," I repeated. Then I laughed, actually laughed. Well, she's not wrong. Her husband is my son, and I suppose my ownership of the restaurant could be considered a family connection.
Brittany's champagne glass trembled in her hand. But what Brittany didn't tell you, what she doesn't actually know because she never bothered to ask about my life, is that I'm not just Tyler's mother. I'm Vivian Martinez. I started washing dishes at 19, worked 3 jobs to save money, opened my first restaurant at 46 with my husband, who died 12 years ago and left me everything. Everything, including a $500,000 life insurance policy and 3 restaurants that generate about $2.4 million in annual revenue. Someone gasped. I wasn't sure who.
So when Brittany here decided 3 months ago that I was too old and embarrassing, her words, and banned me from family dinners because my stories about poverty were dragging down the family image, I thought, interesting. The table was silent. You could hear the fountain in the courtyard. And when I discovered she'd booked my restaurant, for an exclusive brunch where she planned to toast to cutting toxic people, I thought, how poetic. Brittany's eyes were filling with tears now, but not sad tears, angry tears, trapped tears. Vivian, you're crazy. Am I? Because I have the booking confirmation right here. Brittany Martinez, requested by phone. Told my manager, "Hi, Stephanie, wave to everyone." Stephanie waved from the doorway, grinning like a wolf. Told her that her husband, Tyler, was connected in tech, and this brunch was important for their social positioning. Rang up a bill of, let's see, $3,487 so far. That's before dessert. Brittany's face was red now. I can pay for it. Can you? I tilted my head, because according to my accountant, Richard Chin, lovely man, very thorough, you and Tyler have $47,000 in credit card debt. You're spending roughly $19,000 a month on a salary of $10,000 take-home. Tyler took out a personal loan 8 months ago just to keep up with your lifestyle. The gasps were louder now. You're insane! You invaded our privacy! I protected my son. I have emergency financial power of attorney when his father died. There's a difference. I looked around the table again. Ladies, gentlemen, I apologize for the disruption, but I couldn't let this continue without setting some things straight. I turned back to Brittany. You are no longer welcome in this establishment, or the other 2. I've already notified all staff. Your name is flagged in our reservation system. You can't. I own it. I absolutely can. And as for my estate, the restaurants, the house, the investments, everything I built, I met with my attorney last week, established a trust. Tyler will inherit, but he won't have direct access. It'll be managed by a trustee who'll ensure the money is used responsibly. Brittany's face went from red to white. You're cutting him off. I'm protecting him. From you. The champagne flute slipped from her hand. It hit the Italian marble, the marble Marcus and I chose together, and shattered. Crystal fragments scattered across the terrace like diamonds. No one moved. I smiled one last time. Enjoy your brunch, everyone. It's on the house. I turned and walked back inside. Behind me, chaos erupted. The video went viral in 18 hours. I didn't post it. One of the guests did. The Chanel redhead, ironically. 30-second clip. Her phone had been on the table, recording Brittany's toast for Instagram, and she'd never stopped recording. It caught everything. Brittany's speech about cutting toxic people, my entrance, the revelation, the shattered champagne flute.
Posted to TikTok with the caption, "When you find out the old, embarrassing mother-in-law owns the restaurant." 2.3 million views in 24 hours, 47,000 comments, all of them on my side. Yes, ass Grandma, this is the most satisfying thing I've ever seen. The way she stayed calm while destroying her. It's on the house. I'm screaming. Daughter-in-law really thought she ate and got ate instead. Tyler called me that afternoon, Sunday, 3:47 p.m. I was at home, sitting in the office Marcus built, drinking chamomile tea and reading comments. Mom, my 36-year-old son's voice was broken, shattered, worse than that champagne flute. Tyler, I saw the video. I imagine everyone has by now. Silence. Heavy. Painful. I'm sorry, he finally said. Are you? Yes. God, Mom, I'm so sorry. Brittany's lost her mind. She's locked herself in the bedroom, won't stop crying. Her friends are all calling asking if it's true. Is what true? That you own Lumiere? That we're in debt? That you cut me out of your will? I sipped my tea. Let him wait. I didn't cut you out. I put your inheritance in a trust. You'll still get everything, the restaurants, the house, the investments, but it'll be managed, protected. From Brittany, from anyone who might take advantage of you. More silence. She told me you were jealous, Tyler said quietly. That you couldn't handle me having a life that didn't revolve around you, that your stories about being poor embarrassed her and made it hard for us to network with successful people. And you believed her. I wanted to believe her, because believing her was easier than admitting I'd married someone who looks down on my own mother. My throat tightened. Tyler, I didn't do this to hurt you. I know. I did it because watching you betray your own history, our history, to impress people who don't actually care about you, that hurt worse than being banned from dinners. I heard him crying now, soft, muffled. Dad would be so disappointed in me. Your father would be heartbroken, but he'd forgive you, eventually. So will I. What do I do now? That's up to you. But Tyler, you need to decide who you are, the son of Vivian and Marcus Martinez, who worked themselves bloody to build something real, or Brittany's husband, drowning in debt to impress strangers. He didn't answer. The trust is set up. Patricia Gonzalez is the trustee. You remember her. She helped when Dad died. When I'm gone, you'll work with her. She'll make sure you're taken care of, but responsibly. The restaurants will continue. Your father's legacy will live on.
Can I see you? Not yet. You need to figure some things out first. Mom! I love you, Tyler. I always will. But love doesn't mean accepting disrespect. Not anymore. I hung up. 3 weeks later, Stephanie called. Tyler just came in, alone. He's sitting at table 7. Asked if you were here. I'm not. I know, but should I... Do you want me to tell him anything? I thought about it. My son. 36 years of memories. His first steps, first day of school, helping paint Lumiere's bathroom mint green, holding me when Marcus died, and then his silence at that dinner, his weakness, his choice. Tell him the coq au vin is the special today, and it's on me. Stephanie paused. That's Dad's recipe, right? It is. Got it. She hung up. I sat in my office, the one Marcus built, and cried. But not sad tears. Relief tears. 2 months later, I'm writing this from the terrace at Lumiere, the same terrace where everything changed. It's 7 a.m. The Sunday morning crowd hasn't arrived yet. The mountain view is spectacular. Stephanie just brought me coffee. Extra foam, just how you like it. Thank you, sweetheart. Did you see the online reviews from yesterday? No. Good or bad? She grinned. Oh, good. Someone wrote, "Food is amazing, but the real 5 stars go to the owner, a legend who proves old women aren't embarrassing. They're powerful." I laughed. Actually laughed. Tyler and I have spoken twice since the brunch. Short conversations. Careful. He's moved out of the penthouse, too expensive, into a modest 2-bedroom in Tempe. Brittany's still there, last I heard, though I don't ask. He told me he's thinking about therapy, about boundaries, about what he wants versus what he's been told to want. "I'm proud of you," I said last week. "For what?" "For thinking." He laughed, sad but real. "I miss Sunday dinners, Mom. I miss your cooking. I miss you. I miss you too, mijo. Can we start again? Slowly?" I looked out at the mountain, the same mountain Marcus and I had fallen in love with, the same view that had seen me build an empire from dishwater and dreams. "Call me next Sunday, 5 p.m. We'll talk." "Okay." "And, Tyler." "Yeah?" "Bring your appetite. I'm making Dad's coq au vin." He cried. So did I. This morning, I got a letter, handwritten, from one of the women at Brittany's brunch, not the Chanel redhead. Someone else, older. Didn't speak during the chaos. "Dear Mrs. Martinez, I was at the brunch that day. I've been thinking about it non-stop since then. About you. About what you said. I'm 52. My daughter-in-law treats me the same way Brittany treated you. I've been taking it because I didn't want to lose my son, but watching you stand up for yourself, watching you own your power, it woke something up in me. I just wanted to say thank you for being brave, for reminding women my age that we don't have to shrink ourselves to make others comfortable. You're not embarrassing. You're inspiring. With gratitude, Catherine." I folded the letter carefully, put it in my desk drawer next to the photo from Lumiere's opening day, and I smiled. Because here's what I've learned. Getting old isn't embarrassing. Being poor isn't shameful. Working hard isn't something to hide. What's embarrassing is forgetting where you came from. What's shameful is treating people like trash because they don't fit your Instagram aesthetic. What should be hidden is cruelty disguised as boundaries. I spent 49 years building an empire, not for approval, not for social status, but because I was hungry, literally and figuratively, and I refused to stay that way. Brittany thought she could erase me, reduce me to an inconvenient relic of Tyler's past. She forgot something important. You can't erase the woman who owns the building. My name is Vivian Martinez. I'm 68 years old. I own 3 restaurants. I worked my way from dishwater to diamonds, and I'm not going anywhere. If this story hit you in the soul, do me a favor, hit subscribe so you never miss another story. Drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. And if you really love this, like and share so that I can bring you more stories about people who flip the table and win. See you in the next one.